First, we go to the United States, where senior Republicans are calling for greater sanctions against Russia over cyber attacks. The Director of National Intelligence, James Clapper, told a Senate hearing earlier that Russia was behind a multifaceted campaign to disrupt the election. Well, Senator John McCain says that means that it's time to take action against Moscow, but it puts him at odds with President-elect Donald Trump, who has cast doubt on the findings. Julia Seeger has this report.
Top U.S. spy and security chiefs testifying in front of the Senate Armed Services Committee, a committee headed by Senator John McCain, who's on a mission to get to the bottom of Russian hacking in the recent U.S. presidential election, a move he's even described as an act of war. He says Americans deserve to know what really happened.
Every American should be alarmed by Russia's attacks on our nation. There is no national security interest more vital to the United States of America than the ability to hold free and fair elections without foreign interference. That's why Congress must set partisanship aside, follow the facts, and work together to devise comprehensive solutions to deter, defend against, and when necessary, respond to foreign cyber attacks.
McCain and fellow Republican Senator Lindsey Graham had pushed for a wide-ranging public investigation by a Senate Select Committee, similar to the Watergate hearings, in order to present the American public with evidence against Russia. But Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell nixed that plan. Instead, they had to settle for separate investigations in existing Senate committees. The main part of the investigation is likely to be carried out by the Senate Intelligence Committee, whose meetings are off-limits to public and media scrutiny. Several U.S. intelligence agencies have concluded that Russian hackers, authorized by the Kremlin, gained access to Democratic Party emails and gave them to WikiLeaks in an attempt to help Donald Trump win the election. Trump has consistently dismissed these conclusions, saying it's time for the country to move on. The outgoing Obama administration has responded with new sanctions against Russia and by ejecting dozens of Russian diplomats and intelligence agents from the U.S.
Well, for more, I'm joined by Kevin Ryan. He's a retired US general and the director of the Defense and Intelligence Project at the Belfer Center for Science and International Affairs at Harvard. Thank you for joining us on France 24 tonight. First of all, how much, if any, of an impact did Russian hacking have on the outcome of the US election, in your view?
Well, I think, in my view and in the view of the current administration, the hacking did not affect the outcome of the election. I think this is key to remember, and that it's the reason why President Obama and his administration thought that they could basically sit on the information or any kind of a response to the hacking until after the election. Had they thought it was affecting the election, I think they would have spoken up. I think they would have taken some action before the actual vote.
So, proof then of foreign meddling in a US election. Isn't the United States getting a bit of a taste of its own medicine here? It's no secret that Washington has in the past tried to influence elections all around the world.
Well, yes. In a manner of speaking, the United States has tried to encourage democracies where they don't exist. We've supported certain candidates. Our president has maybe traveled to another country and stood side by side with a candidate or an incumbent in an effort to help them get elected. That's all true. I don't equate that with what the Russians did in this case. They hacked emails. The Russian government directed the hacking of emails. And according to the CIA report, what we've heard of it, the specific intention was to help President-elect Donald Trump get elected. So this is slightly different, but there are similarities, yes.
John McCain says this is an act of war. Do you agree?
No, it's not an act of war. An act of war would put the United States in what we call existential threat, an attack on the mainland or something like this. But it's a serious breach of protocol. It's a serious breach of our security systems here, and the United States should and is responding to that.
Is there any way the US can protect itself against any future cyber attacks?
I think in General Clapper's testimony today to Congress, he and Undersecretary Lettra and Admiral Rogers from the NSA all made clear that ultimately there is no way to 100% protect the United States or any other country to provide complete protection against cyber attack. This is a new phenomenon. We're going to have to deal with it. But there are ways that we can get better at protecting ourselves, and the United States is doing that now.
What do you think about President-elect Donald Trump's position, casting doubt on all the findings and, in fact, aligning himself with the WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange?
Yeah, I think this is the biggest problem that we have in the United States right now in terms of the hacking. It's not the effect on the election or the fact even that the hacking occurred. It's the rift that it has begun to make between the president-elect and the intelligence community. And I think that it is a combination of two things. One is that he is concerned about the implication for his own election. I think he feels it casts doubt on whether or not he won the election. And number two is it comes at a time when he is coming into his new administration, and I believe he has had the intention of doing an intelligence community shakeup reform even before this time. And so this is causing concern amongst the intelligence community organizations also.
Well, I can tell you actually, the news has just dropped that he's picked former Senator Dan Coates as his Director of National Intelligence. Do you have any comment on that?
Former Senator Coates is a competent, and patriotic American. He's certainly capable of doing important work for the administration, but I do not see him as an intelligence expert or someone who is fully tuned into the intelligence community issues. And I think that is probably what President-elect Trump likes about him. And so he can basically tell Senator Coates what he wants him to do to the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, decrease it probably, shake it up, reduce its scope, and Coates will do all those things.
General Ryan, thank you very much indeed for talking to us.
Thank you.